That's the other guy. Yeah. Went down the wrong path in this thing.
I had nothing to do with these being made. Jimmy, thanks for that, man. Sorry about that time. You. She's ready and you guys are ready. I don't know that I need it.
I said the same thing.
I am ready. All right, thank you all for being here for the official weigh-in for UFC 269, Oliveira versus Poirier, and we will begin with a first-time UFC title challenger, the third-ranked women's bantamweight in the world, Juliana Pena. Yeah, I'm done with my hits. 135, the official weight for Juliana Pena. All right, next fighter to the scale is the man around whom this fight card was built, the undisputed UFC lightweight champion, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira. $155 for Charles Oliveira. All right, next we make way for the greatest of all time, the UFC's bantamweight and featherweight champion, the Lioness, Amanda Nunes. $134.5 for the champion Amanda Nunes. Your co-headliner is now official. All right, next athlete to the scale is the other man around whom this fight card was built, the former UFC interim lightweight champion and the #1 contender, Dustin the Diamond Poirier. $154.5, the official weight for Dustin Poirier. Your main event for UFC 269 is official. You got it. Good to have you here, bro. Must be a big one. All right, next athlete to the scale in the UFC's flyweight division, Aaron Cold-Blooded Blanchfield. $125.5 for Aaron Blanchfield. All right, next athlete to the scale, and it is great to have this man back in the fold, the number 7 ranked UFC featherweight contender, Josh Emmett. Official weight 145.5 for Josh Emmett. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a prelim you can see live on Fight Pass and ESPN Plus in the bantamweight division. He is Tony Kelly. $136, the official weight for Tony Kelly. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing on the pay-per-view main card, the 6th ranked flyweight in the world, Kai Kara-France. Official weight 125 pounds for Kai Kara-France. All right, next fighter to the scale, charged with kicking off the pay-per-view main card in the UFC's bantamweight division, the unranked Sugar Sean O'Malley. Official weight 135.5 for Sugar Sean O'Malley. All right, moving on now to the UFC women's flyweight division as we welcome Miranda Maverick. $125, the official weight for Miranda Maverick. All right, next fighter to the scale in the UFC's middleweight division. He's your boy, Eric Anders. 185.5, the official weight for Eric Anders. All right, next fighter to the scale just so happens to be his opponent in the middleweight division, Andre Sergipano Muniz. $185.5, the official weight for Andre Muniz. All right, next fighter to the scale, one of the best grapplers in the UFC, competing in the 145-pound division, Ryan Hall. $145.5 for the Wizard, Ryan Hall. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the UFC's flyweight division, the Savage, Jillian Robertson. Official weight 125 pounds for Jillian Robertson. All right, next up, a prelim you can see live on ESPN2 in the middleweight division, Bruno Silva. £186 for Bruno Silva. All right, next fighter to the scale in the UFC's bantamweight division, repping Taunton, Massachusetts. Please welcome Randy the Zohan Costa. $134.5, the official weight for Randy Costa. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the UFC's middleweight division. He is the Beverly Hills Ninja, Jordan Wright. $186, the official weight for Jordan Wright. All right, next fighter to the scale competing in our featured prelim live on ESPN2 in the UFC's featherweight division. He is 9th ranked Dan 50K Ige. $146, the official weight for Dan Ige. All right, next fighter to the scale, one of the best in the world in his division, 8th ranked UFC bantamweight contender, the young Punisher, Pedro Munoz. Official weight 135.5 for Pedro Munoz. All right, next fighter to the scale is the former undisputed UFC bantamweight champion, making his UFC flyweight debut live on pay-per-view tomorrow, Cody No Love Garbrandt.
$126.
126 pounds, the official weight for Cody Garbrandt.
That's a good catch, yeah.
All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the UFC 269 weigh-ins. If you're just joining us, I'm Drake Rose, providing you all the content here for Fight Week. There we go. UFC 269. We are 36 minutes.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a prelim live on ESPN2 in the UFC's heavyweight division, Tai Bam Bam Tuivasa. .264, the official weight for Tai Tuivasa.
All right, as I was saying, we are 37 minutes to be precise, through the UFC 269 official weigh-ins. Tai Tuivasa just came in at 264 pounds, just under the limit at heavyweight. Everybody all good and made weight so far, including Cody Garbrandt making his flyweight debut. Pierre Deb, no issues there, 126. All good, seemed healthy. Kind of surprising to me. I didn't think he'd struggle as little as he appeared to, at least from an outside perspective. So that's always good. That leaves us Ponce Nibio, Jeff Neal, Julian Paiva, Dominic Cruz, Augusto Sakai, Matt Snell, Perez Minner, and Cachoeira. Marcelo Cachoeira, that is, as you can see on the screen. So, all systems go so far. Title fights are on. Not sure if there is a backup fighter for the main event, even though not needed right now unless something crazy happens. But hopefully that is not the case. But Neil Dariush was assumed to be the backup fighter, but then, of course, he's been booked with Islam Makhachev. So that would seem a little bit strange now if that happens. But, you know, here we are. So we have an hour and 21 minutes left for the window for all these fighters to weigh in. And then we'll be good to go. I got the spotlight right on me, so I'm looking extra ghostly today. So that's fun. Galactus, thank you for hanging out once again. Says Tai Tuivasa looks more in shape than before. Yeah, he looked pretty good, which is funny because he's still around the same weight, right? 260, around the limit, 264, 265. And that's what he normally weighs in, right? But yeah, he looked good just now. And he also says Car France looked extra angry at the presser. Could it be because everyone was talking about O'Malley and Cody? Could have been. Yeah, he seemed a little bit pumped up. It would be a little bit annoying if two guys kind of ignoring their opponents, if you're those opponents. So Paiva and Car France, obviously. So it frustrated me a little bit. So I think that's fair. A good motivation to play spoiler, you know. But see how it goes. I think he was probably pretty motivated regardless, but yeah, I don't think that helps. At least in terms of Cody's side of things, making it an easier fight or anything. I mean, a frustrated guy. We'll see how it goes, right? But plenty of great fights. Again, all the remaining fighters can be seen here on the screen. So yeah, what should we talk about, you guys? The fight's coming up. I mean, out of everyone who's waited so far, if we're to play the eyeball test, and who looked like they maybe had the toughest cut so far, personally, can you still hear me? Nope. Oh, sorry about that. Wi-Fi is a bit spotty today. This is just going to be a thing we're going to have to deal with. But what I was getting at was I thought Eric Anders looked like he seemed like he was very relieved to get the weight cut out of the way. I'm sure everybody is generally, but he seemed to be more happy about it, I guess you could say, if I was to do the eye test, like I said. Dorji's here. Good to see you. He says, hi, guys. Can't wait for the event. Freaking great card. Good night. Peace and love from India. Appreciate you, sir. Thanks for tuning in. All the way from India. And Galactus is asking, do I think we live in a simulation? Wow. That is quite a loaded question, my friend. But a solid one with the Matrix coming out. I don't know if we have time to answer that. But I wouldn't be surprised. Not to get political or anything. But hey, this is an open forum, so feel free to ask whatever you want as we hang out here. I will potentially be joined by some of the other fellas here. Nick Atkin, the man himself, of course. He is back home in the UK right now, so I know they're doing a lot of traveling via train today, so I'm not sure if he'll be able to hop on, but maybe old Tommy T. We'll see. We will see. Either way, appreciate you all hanging out. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff if you enjoy the content that we've been providing here at SCMP. A lot of great stuff coming. Obviously, all the coverage here today. But after ceremonials, will be the World MMA Awards, or the Fighters Only MMA Awards, or whatever it's called. You should probably know that, but I will be there, and it will be quite a unique old time. Plenty of champions, fighters, special guest legends, not fighters, celebrities, interesting people going to be there. So even the guy who, the dog face guy, whatever his name is, who rides the skateboard and drinks cranberry juice, is apparently going to be there. And that was in the notes, which is funny enough as it is. But, yeah. So, here's a good question from Galactus. Obviously, a hot topic this week. He's asking, what do you think of Cruz calling out DC for a poor job commentating? It's a very interesting topic indeed, since they are co-workers, they commentate together, have been fighters together in the same organization. I see kind of all sides to it, but I think Aaron Bronstetter probably put it best. Shout out to him over at TSN, doing great work. Go check his feed and his thoughts on it, but he kind of made the differentiation, I guess you could say, of how Cruz is still an active fighter, right? And in that moment, he was fighter dom. He is fighter dom this week. he's not commentary dub, right? So he's just being honest, which is always great, but then it's your friend. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think anything he said was too harsh. It's not like he roasted him out of nowhere. Like he was asked about it. Not directly, like wasn't asked if DC's a commentator or anything like that, but I don't know. I see the differentiation there. I don't think it was as big of a deal as people maybe made it out to seem. And they talked about it right afterwards, so it's whatever. I think ultimately it's good because if we're going to be honest, I think Dominic's probably right, and most can agree with that, even if what he said was right or wrong. It's like DC could clearly do a little bit more when it comes to commentary, because kind of feels like a podcast whenever he's out there. Which, hey, if you like that, you like that, but is what it is, I guess. Galactus chimes in also and says, Cruz keeps it 100 more than a Diaz, bro. That is for sure. That he does. Still waiting on the Dominator to weigh in. I saw some very disturbing footage earlier this morning. Behind the scenes knowledge here, perhaps. Apparently it's on Twitter, but I did not see it on Twitter. But of Dominic's weight cut, which looked very, very rough. Him laying on the ground, the towels on him, and he looked like an actual corpse, which was very, very worrisome. And especially being a huge, unashamed Dominic fan that I am. So hopefully things have gone all right for him. And he's surely finishing things up right now.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing live on ESPN2, the 11th ranked UFC heavyweight Augusto Sakai. $263.5, the official weight for Augusto Sakai.
All right, I'm back. Apologies about that, everybody. Connection drop on the phone. A little spotty here, obviously, but thankfully the stream's all good. And we decide Augusto Sakai weigh in, and he made heavyweight. Surprise, surprise. I don't think a heavyweight has ever missed weight. I remember there was a scare about Greg Hardy missing weight a while back, and he would have been the first ever, I think. But Augusto Sakai, 263.5, so just under his opponent in Tai Tuivasa. All right, love to see it as we approach the 1 hour mark, 9:53 a.m. right now on the Pacific Coast. But as I was saying, yeah, looks like a rough cut for Dominic Cruz, and we'll see. We have yet to see him. Of course, he's never missed weight. He's been wrestling and cutting weight his whole life, so it's the true professional he is. I'm not super worried, but it did not look great. At least the footage we saw. At least I saw. But yeah, we'll see how that goes when he does arrive. And yes, Al says bad Wi-Fi day. That it has been. Even on my hotspot, which is generally pretty great. This is like a not great room in the apex for the Wi-Fi. So my hotspot is on the stream, and then I'm hooked to the apex Wi-Fi for my screen. So we're all over the place, but making it work. And Galactus randomly mentioning Burt Watson. Yeah, he's still around. He's a Bellator. I saw him a couple weeks ago. Was it September, actually? So more than a couple weeks. But his pre-fight backstage, or right before the weigh-ins, the ceremony weigh-ins, he talked to everybody, did like a little motivational speech. And my goodness, he's quite good at that. He should probably be a motivational speaker at some point in his life anyway, because he does a great job at getting you hyped. My goodness. Oh. All right, if you are just now joining us, thank you so much. Here live at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. We await Santiago Ponzinibbio, Jeff Neal, his opponent, Leon Paiva, who's taking on Sean O'Malley, Dominic Cruz, who's taking on Pedro Munoz, 135 pounds, Matt Schnell, Alex Perez, Derek Minner, and Priscilla Cashmere. Apologies for the yawn. It's early. Still waking up a little bit. Still waking up just a little bit. All right. So a question for you guys, though. Which fight outside of the obvious one, which I guess would be the main event, right? Because that fight's going to be incredible. Which fight are you guys most excited for? Because we have some pretty good options here. Pretty good ones to choose from. And Al says, thank you, Al, again for hanging out. Has not really read much about this card. Is there a large crowd for this arena? Yes, the T-Mobile will be allowed at full capacity, which is around 20,000, I believe. But if you consider that large, then there you go. Pretty big, though. Pretty big. Full capacity either way. That's Dana's only doing arenas if they can be full, unless it's Abu Dhabi, right? JD Smith, good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for tuning in. He says he's stoked to watch Cruz fight. We don't get to see him enough. I could not agree with you more. That man is a living legend. My all-time favorite, one of the all-time best. No question about it. Just happy to see him active and fighting multiple times in a year again. Assuming there's no phony business, because as you can see, he still has yet to weigh in. And as I mentioned, did not look like the easiest of cuts, unfortunately, from what I've seen. But again, all that matters is what happens when he gets on the scale. So, yeah, that's definitely the fight I'm most excited for as an unashamed fanboy, as anyone who knows me knows. Al says he's looking forward to Kai Kara-France versus Garbrandt. Yeah, that'll be fun for as long as it lasts. Very tough matchup for Cody in a new divisional debut. But I do want to present something here for you guys. Am I the only one who finds it pretty ridiculous that now there's a narrative kind of being created about the winner of this fight getting a title shot? I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that whatsoever. Especially if Cody wins. I mean, I feel like everyone is forgetting about Pantoja. But more than that, everyone has completely forgot about Askarov. That guy should have fought Moreno in the last fight. We shouldn't even. Oh well, no, that was the rematch. The rematch was fine, but the trilogy, yeah, that should be next. That should 100% be next, in my opinion. And they already fought. There's a story there, which is funny because Moreno's fought Pantoja as well in Kara-France. So a lot of flyweight rematches actually, but they're all very fun and exciting. But I don't know. I don't think the winner of that fight should necessarily be in line for a title shot. Sure, they'll be close, maybe a fight away. Maybe they'll fight Askarov or Pantoja, I'm sure, but I don't think they should skip them. Not a chance. Not a chance. I think Kai would have a better claim having actually done stuff at flyweight as opposed to Cody. So that's where I lie on that matter. So, all right, we have officially hit the 1 hour mark. Thank you all for tuning in, wherever you may be in the world. Feel free to drop any questions while we have our little breaks and downtime here right now. As we await the welterweights, Santiago Ponzinibbio, Jeff Neal, Leon Paiva at bantamweight, Dominic Cruz, Matt Snell, Perez, Minner, Silva Cachoeira opening the night. From yesterday's press conference, just to highlight something, I thought that Leon Paiva looked significantly smaller than O'Malley, which is not surprising whatsoever. But it was very noticeable, I guess you could say. And yes, he's fought at flyweight before, right? So there you go. And he seems fired up as well. Going back to a question from earlier about Kai, I think Howleon's probably, he seems a little bit annoyed by the overlooking, you could say. Definitely seemed more annoyed by that than Kai, in my opinion. So that should be a fun one. That should be good. And looks like we're about to have another fighter here. Just in a second, not sure who just yet. And that's how it looks. So I will pop on out of here.
All right, next athlete to weigh in this morning, 9th ranked in the UFC's flyweight division. He is Matt Danger Schnell.
$126.
126, the official weight for Matt Schnell. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing live on pay-per-view tomorrow night in the UFC's welterweight division, 14th ranked Santiago Ponzinibbio.
$169.5.
169.5, the official weight for the Argentine dagger Santiago Ponzinibbio. All right, next fighter to the scale, also competing on pay-per-view tomorrow in the UFC's bantamweight division, Raulian Paiva.
$135.5.
Official weight 135.5 for Raulian Paiva.
All right. So all right. So a couple more fighters in the books right there. Matt Schnell, Santiago Ponzinibbio, and Julian Paiva all coming in on weight. Matt Schnell at 126, Ponzinibbio at 169.5, Julian Paiva at 135.5. So there you go. That just leaves Jeff Neal, Dominic Cruz, Alex Perez, Derek Minner, and Priscilla Cachoeira. As we have 52 more minutes for fighters to weigh in. Still no funny business, which you love to see. JD says, not sure who all is in the top 10. What their wins and losses are. 125 is that weight class I'm least familiar with, so I can't say for what it's worth. He's referencing the potential title shot there. Galactus says he hopes Ponzi does well. Yeah, always a fun guy to watch. Should be fun while it lasts. Similar to the Cody and Kai fight. And Galactus also asks who I think will weigh in next. Well, let's see how many options we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. I would assume Perez or Minner. I know that in the past, Priscilla Cachoeira has kind of had some rough cuts, or at least taken her time to get to the scale. I don't know if she's missed before, but she's kind of been. I mean, she's a big flyweight, so I think she'll probably come down to be one of the last. And then, unfortunately, I'm starting to feel that Dominic might be last now, after all things considered. But time will tell. And then as for Jeff Neal, obviously had his little incident on Thanksgiving. Which, kind of problematic for multiple reasons, obviously, but in terms of the weight cut, maybe it hasn't been so disciplined this camp. That's a fair assumption to make. And then as for the other guys, I don't have too much to comment about them. Present Minner, that is, but it's kind of why I assume that they'll be first or next. And it's funny, I always get Alex Perez and Alejandro Perez mixed up. So, I get confused who has and hasn't fought at bantamweight and flyweight. Because I'm pretty sure one of them has fought at both. but the other has not. So that's why I get so confused. Al says maybe too much Thanksgiving turkey. Yeah, never a fun time to fight and be kind of teased. It's Thanksgiving time, right? The holidays, the fighters always prefer to not miss that, or at least be around it when weight cutting. Strange thing, Thanksgiving meals, don't you think? In terms of like the actual food, I feel like it's all very strange food that you don't typically eat unless it's on that day, right? I'm sure people have turkey fairly regularly, I assume, but I don't know. Something about Thanksgiving food is like, it just seems weird to me. Eat it, yeah, but I don't think it's necessarily like the best ever, like everyone thinks it has to be. Just to go on a little tangent there. Galactus asks, have I heard of M.R? No. And now I'm concerned that you're tricking me into something. But please, do explain. Okay. If you are just now joining us, we are approaching the 45-minute mark in terms of 45 minutes left. As all fighters have made weight, 5 remain. As you can see on the screen, Jeff Neal, Dominic Cruz, Alex Perez, Derek Minner, featherweight, Priscilla Cachoeira, flyweight, opening the night. And Galactus is asking if I'm sleepy. Actually, I only got like 6.5 hours of sleep last night, and I woke up feeling pretty fine, and it wasn't like difficult. Generally, waking up this early is not great for me, but I feel pretty good this morning. It's kind of hitting me now, though. Obviously, the energy might be a little bit low, but yes, always a lot of work indeed, and today is quite a doozy, so it's kind of mental preparation, I guess you could say. But that's just what we do. So. Alrighty, guys, let's just talk about it. How do we feel about the main event? Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira. A lot of people say Poirier is the uncrowned champion. I don't agree with that necessarily. I think Charles Oliveira very fairly earned the title, clearly. I mean, look at the path he's been on, whereas Dustin has thoroughly beaten a guy in Connor that's a solid guy to beat twice in a row, but a guy who has not won at lightweight since 2016 and should not be ranked. I don't think it holds the same value as it once would have. So I think it'll be a great fight. Dustin can clearly win, but all these claims of him being the real number one in the world, I just don't think that's fair, especially to Oliveira. And yes, his only loss recently was to Habib, right? But and yes, it's Habib, but still lost, got finished, all that kind of thing. Oliveira can just do so many things. Of course, phenomenal on the ground. Striking is clearly a problem now as well. Very, very excited for that fight. Galactus saying, honestly, I think anyone in the top 10 could have done similar to Connor. If Charlie Olives wins, he is Fighter of the Year. Yeah, especially if he finishes him. I think that wouldn't be a terrible pick. I always feel like fighters with like 2 fights, it always feels kind of harder for me to pick them as Fighter of the Year. But if you look at kind of the champions and how often they fight and who they're fighting, I think it's fair that way too. Yeah, and I mean, just as the winner in general, it'd likely be the Fighter of the Year. Yeah, you could do that for Dustin. I mean, the performances he did put on against Connor, despite it being Connor at this stage, like I said, that's still a pretty big year for him if he takes him out twice and then wins the title. And again, if he was to finish Oliveira, which very possible, and vice versa. So it's going to be awesome. All right, so still left to weigh in. We have Jeff Neal, Dominic Cruz, Alex Perez. I almost said Alejandro. Dick Manor, Priscilla Cachoeira. The headliners all came out right away. First 4. Pena started things off. Then it was Oliveira. Then Nunes, I believe, and then Poirier. I think that was the order. But regardless, all 4 came right out, which I feel like it's been happening a lot more in recent events, but it is what it is. Everybody's also ready to go. My man Ghost is here. Good to see you, sir. He says, did Cody Garbrandt weigh in yet? Yes, he did. He made weight 126 pounds. Looked fine. Did not appear to struggle as much as I expected him to. Yeah. All good on his end. So, there you have it. He was, I want to say, around 20 minutes ago. Okay, 49. Look at my timestamps. It's been Cody was in there at a pretty decent time. As Galactus says, these last few fighters are cutting it close. No pun intended. Yeah. What happens sometimes, though, is you'll get everyone come out pretty quickly. There's usually a big, fast bunch that get right out of the way. And then there'll be a small group like we have here, 5 or 3, that will all come out in the last 3 minutes, no joke, just boom, boom, boom. So they might be doing that to us here again. We'll see. But we have just hit the hour 20 mark, so 40 more minutes for these remaining 5. Everyone has made weight once again. I shouldn't say once again. I don't think. I don't know. I don't remember if everyone made weight on the last event, but not too many weight misses on the pay-per-view cards these days, I've noticed. James is here. What is up, man? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. He says, what's up, Drake? I just watched the Israel Adesanya reaction to Font versus Aldo, and he used the same on the tracks on the fence and squared off. uses the same. I'll try some defensive squared off. Crazy is he uses the same verbiage as Ghost, right? Well, if we're going to be totally fair and respectful, honest, I guess you could say, it's Ghost using the verbiage as Adesanya, right? Because those are the things. No disrespect to Ghost, but let's not get crazy now. I think Ghost will admit that as well. But yeah. I mean, hey man, pay attention, you learn and see all these things, and the fighters clearly see it too because they're the ones doing it. I don't know if they'll all say it the same way, but yeah, it's definitely there. So. Oh, Galactus is right. It's starting to hit me. I need a nap now. Well, if it isn't Mr. Alvin, says, hello, Mr. Rick. Glad to see you cover this wonderful event. Hope that all fighters have had a safe weight cut. So far, so good, sir. So far, so good. As we just have Jeff Neal, Dominic Cruz, Alex Perez, and Derek Minner, as well as Bristol Cachoeira left to weigh in. We'll see. See how it is for them, but yeah, everybody so far, so good. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if I have enough energy to carry the show. I don't know what more to say. Help me out here. What should we talk about? I will say, I find it fairly surprising. Poor Ryan Hall gets relegated to the pre-prelims, the early prelims, after losing just one fight. One fight against Poirier. And yeah, didn't look very great. Not his best performance, but for him to be dropped to the third fight of the night, it's pretty crazy to me. And then against a guy like Derek Minner. I mean, hey, at least he got a fight. And another person who I'm happy to see staying active, right? Like we were talking about Dominic earlier. For Ryan Hall to continue to be able to be active. I'd love to see that. That is great. But ultimately surprising that he's so low on the card. So I have the sheet here. Let's do the lineup. Same for Randy Costa, though. Randy Costa, the second fight of the night. I mean, when you look at how how stacked the event really is, I guess it's not that surprising. But when you look at like Wright versus Silva being the sixth fight, that's oh, and in this, I hate this too. Alex Perez and Schnell being buried on the prelims. I hate when ranked fighters are that low. Alex Perez is number 4 in the division. He's buried. This guy just fought for a title, didn't he? I mean, not just fought for it, but you know what I mean. I've never understood that thought process. Especially when flyweight is actually legitimately entertaining, fun to watch. Oh shit, Rain's in the house. What is up, man? Yep, Alvin is here as well. Rain says, what prelim fight are you guys most excited for? Well, no. Oh, there we go. For a second, the screen wasn't coming on, so I was just going to see if the audio was okay. But anyway, I was saying Dominic Cruz, of course. Cruz versus Munoz. That fight also shouldn't be on the prelims. Just absurd. Dominic Cruz, my guy, of course. You guys know me. So by default, that is the prelim fight I am most looking forward to. But aside from that, Aaron Blanchfield and Miranda Maverick, of course. As frustrating as maybe it happening is, still a great matchup in my opinion. And I am in full support of the Aaron Blanchfield hype train. Conducting it, I guess you could even say. So yeah, that one will be great. I mean, Emmett Ige should be fun. A lot of good options overall. Oh, Rue is here as well. This is good morning. Yes, good morning. Thank you. Today in the house. Conor Army, get your flags out, everybody. Wave them proud. Oh, we got somebody coming.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing on pay-per-view on the main card in the UFC's welterweight division, 12th ranked, Jeff Hands of Steel Neal. $170.5, the official weight for the welterweight contender, Jeff Neal.
All right, Jeff Neal, makes weight 170.5. I see that Rain is trying to trigger me here by saying that he said this before, but I will not be watching Late Shoulders Maverick. No cage awareness by Maverick, not worth a watch. That is completely absurd, sir, for multiple reasons. Sure, I understand that, but to say it's not worth a watch, it's very disrespectful to Aaron Blanchfield as well, who is absolutely worth a watch by herself, no matter who she's going against. But you never know. Maverick will change her ways. Still very young as well. Will continue to improve. To say it's not worth a watch is ridiculous, in my opinion. Because you never know what you're going to get. But I'll leave it at that. Trying to get me, I know what you're doing. Rick says Drake is Katakar front speed set up to fall No, I don't think so at all. I think he's going to win this fight. I think he'll knock out Cody. Despite Cody looking great and fine getting to the flyweight limit here. I think people will keep sleeping on Kai France. So, I mean, on paper, I could understand how you could feel like Kai might be getting set up to fail, but I think he has a very good shot. Obviously, as I'm picking him. I know I'm not alone there. See if the dehydration helps Cody or not. That was right in the mic. 嗯 Interesting. Something's happening backstage. I can't quite tell, but you might be able to hear Anik bringing the mic with him.
Who's that?
19 minutes left in the weigh-ins here. No, that's DC back there. This is kind of funny. Wait, 4 fighters remain. Chris of the Cachoeira, Derek Minner, Alex Perez, and Dominic Cruz. And Galactus is asking, who do I think will weigh in next? Well, I was wrong last time you asked me, that's for sure. So, I'm still sticking with Dom coming in last, unfortunately.
They're asking you to step back, John, a little bit.
Have to step back.
They're asking you to take a half step back.
I don't hear that now.
He doesn't have to.
I'm very curious what's going on back there. You guys can hear that, right? Should be able to. Who do I think will weigh in next? I'm still going to go with Perez or Minner. Is that what I said the first time? I don't know. But I'll say Perez.
So it's a team.
Well, really.
They scored 250 together before.
No, we scored 268. Shut
It
up.
was really like a shipping company.
Yeah, it really was.
You know, John Anik back with us now, and it's. I'm sorry that they put you in DC. No.
Thank you, Dan. Yeah. As much as Cruzy tries to, right?
Maybe Dom will be next, Galactus. Good bet there. You guys are getting some total behind-the-scenes stuff here. This is why you tune into SCMP.
I got
right
us off
here.
to a good start, you know, but
Totally eavesdropping, you guys. Is this wrong of me? Should I mute this? Should I mute that?
So, John, here's the beauty in this, right?
what do you got?
I'm telling you, the ratings have really skyrocketed since you've been on.
Yeah, right.
And they got to spin the wheel. We hit the
We did win, right?
Right, so they got to spin the wheel. So, John, spin the wheel for their punch.
All right, I'm gonna spin this for Gaethje and Sank.
Oh, you must be on the show
Yeah,
or something.
great. Yeah, I'll take the bet.
He loves to bet, bro.
It's like somebody else is coming out right now.
Gaethje
too.
did win the long drive competition.
He's not even in the room.
pictured, by the way. Oh, can we not sing and mute their mic for 5 minutes? I mean, can I just hold this and reserve that for tomorrow night?
Oh, wait, dude, you're doing this see what you're doing, John? You're acting like this guy now. Way to go. This is crazy. So, John, can we as a group can decide who we're gonna be? Are we saying who? Or are we moving this guy right here? Hey. It's no fun. He volunteers.
Priscilla Cachoeira. All right, I have my priorities. I saw her on the treadmill this morning. Let's mute Gaethje for 5.
All right, well, that sounded like Cachoeira coming out, but somebody's ready to come out, but he's not. He's not back here. Oh, there he is.
All right, next athlete to the scale in the UFC women's flyweight division, Priscilla Cachoeira.
$129.
129, the official weight for Priscilla Cachoeira, 3 pounds over the flyweight limit.
Oh, there we have it. There's our first miss of the day. Priscilla Cachoeira comes in at 129 pounds, 3 over the flyweight limit, 126.
All right, next fighter to the scale is the former 2-time UFC bantamweight champion of the world and the 9th-ranked bantamweight contender at present, the Dominator, Dominic Cruz. $135, the official weight for Dominic Cruz.
There you have it. Priscilla Cachoeira, as I said, missed weight right before, and then Dominic Cruz comes in, makes it championship weight, but my goodness, it did look rough indeed. You guys can't quite tell here in person the same, but trust me, he looked relieved as well. So, total professional though, right on the money, 135. Crazy. All right, so our predictions were wrong. Galactus. Well, what you said? You said Cruz or Perez. Is that what you said? Yeah, you did say that. So, all right, you were half right then. I was way off though, as both of these two guys are the ones I thought would be next. As we have 11 more minutes here, potentially. Could be done earlier, but it doesn't really matter. 10 minutes or so. And could be coming here momentarily, but Perez and Minner remain. It's Priscilla Cachoeira, who opens the night against Jillian Robertson, is the only fighter to have missed weight today.
All right, next athlete to weigh in the UFC's featherweight division, Derek Minner. 146, the official weight for a very fired up Derek Minner.
All right. Derek Minner makes it. He needs the box, the tail box, but I couldn't have been any more wrong. That's my prediction there. As Alex Perez is going to be the last person to weigh in. So, everyone has made weight except for Priscilla Cachoeira. Again, who will be the first fighter to make the walk tomorrow night. Good fun. Tough cuts here at the end, indeed. Stalactus mentions that Alvin asks, do I prefer the digital scale or the analog scale? Definitely digital. I don't know why. No idea why the UFC uses this caveman shit. Just let's be precise, can't we? They used it in New York. I believe the New York State Athletic Commission used it, which was great. Yeah, I don't know why Nevada can't get with the times. It's very stupid. Pretty much everywhere else does it, but not here. Let's be as accurate as we can, please. Kind of the whole point. Oh well. All right. Just waiting. Alex Perez, let's see if he makes us wait till the very last minute. We have 8 of them remaining. We are good to go. And I will see you guys again later at the ceremonial weigh-ins. I won't be on screen or chatting for that one, but I'll be there. And then all the fun that comes after that. Fights, the one-on-ones at the awards. I wasn't going to come back in to answer this question, Galactus, but since we're having 5 minutes left here and just having some fun, figured why not? As he asks, who wins in a fight between a taco and a sandwich? I think the sandwich takes that one simply because of the fact that there's so much versatility to a sandwich, and different types of sizes, things you can put on it. You name it. So much can happen. So many possibilities with a sandwich, whereas a taco seems pretty limited. I'm going to take the sandwich in that one. Sorry to all you taco fans out there. I'm out of water. All right, guys, looks like Alex is ready. So let's get this thing on over with.
All right, next athlete to the scale, former world title challenger, the 4th ranked flyweight in the world, Alex Perez.
You gotta keep your hands up.
126 and a quarter, the official weight for Alex Perez.
All right. There you have it. Alex Perez just over by a quarter. That should do it. Unless Benil Dariush is hiding back there, we are done and good to go. With only Perez and Cashua missing weight. Perez and Minner needing the towel. Minner makes it, though. What's the difference there?
One fight card update for you folks. Due to medical issues with flyweight Matt Schnell, his bout with Alex Perez has been canceled from tomorrow's fight card down to 14, folks. Thanks.
All right.
Yes, Alex Perez is done cutting weight, so official weigh-ins are now complete.
All right, so we did lose a fight, unfortunately.
Start time now for UFC 269. Backs up 30 minutes at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right, you guys. Well, almost. All good. Perfect. Aside from 2 main misses and then the fight cancellation. So here we are. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. Appreciate it greatly. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow along with SCMP for all your MMA needs, whether it is this week, the next, the one after that. You know the drill. Appreciate you greatly. coming in later for the ceremonial weigh-ins, and then we'll have plenty of stuff tomorrow as well. Live stream for all the post-fight interviews. You name it. We got it. Thank you, guys. See ya when I see ya.